Hey guys, God bless. Welcome back to my channel. I am Charlene, and today we are going to talk about a very sensitive matter. So sensitive that I am so careful about what I say and probably gonna have to remake this video over and over again. Who knows? I don't know. I already had to redo it like 3 times, but it's okay. Please excuse my natural lighting. God's doing him and I'm using his work to work. But we're going to talk about narcissism. I ran across one video, maybe 2, and for a really long time, I kind of avoid videos evolving around that because I kind of put that in a category of clickbait, along with some other terms and things that is triggering and it promotes attention, and you have to be careful as a Christian content creator to find that balance, because there are going to be some hot topics that needs to be addressed that so happen to get a lot of people involved and a lot of people watching and looking. But then also, please be mindful of tarnishing your image as someone who has integrity and not being like the world, on certain things, about things that are not fruitful. But in this particular incident, I became intrigued because there were a couple of videos involving Christianity and narcissism, and I found that to be a little interesting because we have these modern terms that we just have to be careful about because it's bad. Narcissism, like when we hear these words and we see them, it's like we know it's bad, and it gives us a bad impression of people, which is why I want to say disclaimer up front. If you feel like you're involved with a narcissist partner or know someone in your family, please be mindful of this, because I know personally, as someone who is a victim of molestation and rape, it is super duper hard not to want to let it be known in an instant, as well as wanting to sting, like wanting to just, I feel so bad or horrible, you should feel something too. That's hard. But as a Christian, we have to be really careful about what we say and do, even with labels, and be mindful that labels stick. Labels, they don't really go anywhere. Like, once you label someone as something, even if they turn out to be not guilty in the eyes of the law, people don't forget what they were called. Whether it's the molester or rapist or murderer or liar or cheater, they kind of stick. Which is another reason why it is not a good idea to discuss your marital issues with family members and friends. Because as the saying goes, you can forgive and move on, but people oftentimes don't. But I'm not excusing the behavior, and I'm not saying accept the behavior. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying you want to be careful about what you comment, what you say, or at least weigh the matter, right? Like, if you choose to comment and express yourself, please be mindful that other people are watching and you don't know who knows who. There's always being discreet. I invite you to email me if you want to talk about something. I will say disclaimer, phone always dying. No, seriously, real disclaimer. I, Charlene, cannot tell you whether to leave or stay with someone. That's not my job. I feel like that is not up to me. I don't think it's okay for people to even engage in those kind of questions and conversations. Me personally, I feel convicted even thinking about discussing that with anyone. There has been a lot of people who were advised, they seek my advice. And I was just like, okay, like, even some of the things that was going on, I'm like, whoa, I would leave. Like, even in my heart and my mind, I'm like, I felt like I would have grounds to leave, but I did not say that to them. I advised them to pray and talk to God about it, because I feel like God created marriage. he should be the one to tell you whether it's done or destroyed. That's my personal opinion. Not to say anything bad about counseling and stuff, because it is your job to counsel you through. Which I think ideally marital counseling, usually the aim and goal is to stay, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think they're trained to say go, but I do know if there is harm to that person or to themselves, then they have to tell someone. But the ultimate decision to leave or stay, please make sure that's between you and God. Because from what I'm reading and researching on the narcissistic behavior, definitely is filled with a lot of things that me personally, I would say, I don't know if I'll be able to deal with that. And that's even with the idea and concept of what we study in the Bible about like the cheating, like adultery. Death is obviously a no-brainer. You die, you're free to remarry. But reading through the Old Testament and coming current, my conclusion is God did not divorce Israel. He wanted to, he talked about it, but he did not. And with that conclusion, I don't think divorce is something that we should take lightly. It's not something that we should just be talking about. And I feel like if God, a part of me now, because there are some things, like I said, I'm just like, but God spoke a lot about, matter of fact, I just read Hosea, and there was another prophet about marrying a whore, knowing that she was a whore, knowing that she was filthy, dirty, nasty, and did whatever she wanted to do to whoever she wanted to do, however she wanted to do it. And when you put that in modern terms, like a hoe, a slut, or whatever will give you the most gruesome image of a woman just being loose and not keeping to herself and cheating on her spouse, that was Israel to God. And he actually told these prophets, I want you to marry her. Knowing that, right? Knowing she's filthy, nasty, dirty, and a whore. Everybody knows that. Everybody gets a turn, whatever. And I want you to love her, and I want you to bear children with her and stay with her. And that's what God did to Israel. Like, y'all cheated on me. You disgraced me. You lied on me. You forgot me. You neglected me. You abused me. You did all these things. You cheated and cheated after affair after affair after affair, and really played my face. And I'm still here saying, if you would just humble yourself, and I will forgive all of that. And it's hard in a human perspective. It's like, this person beating on me, this person mistreated me, this person is lying on me, having sex with other people, having outside kids, like all these things that naturally just hurts. And it's like, imagine how God felt. And God still said, you are my people. And like I said, that's why I say, I don't feel comfortable telling someone, hey, go get a divorce or do this. Like, I'm not saying that you make your own choice between you and God, because then you have to deal with it. But I'm not putting the blood on my hands, encouraging or discouraging whether to divorce or leave or whatever the case. That's just not my thing. But anywho, I do want to address something biblically, because I know modern terms can trip people up and get people to quarrel and fight about things that are not important. For example, the word Trinity. But narcissist can be that word too, because it's not in the Bible. But there are some traits and characteristics of narcissists that is in the Bible that we are told what to do or how to go about. In 2 Timothy 3, verse 1 and continuing, but understand this, that in the last days there will come times of difficulty, for people will be lovers of self, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, heartless, unappeasable, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not loving good, treacherous, reckless, swollen with conceit, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having the appearance of godliness but denying its power. Avoid such people. Now, some people may take the avoid part and say, that means I should leave this person alone. I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that. But then when it comes to marriage, it's a different speed. Let's look into what narcissism is. Is a self-centered personality style characterized as having an excessive interest in one's physical appearance or image and excessive preoccupation with one's own needs, often at the expense of others. Narcissism exists on a continuum that ranges from normal to abnormal personality expression. While there exist normal, healthy levels of narcissism in humans, there are also more extreme levels of narcissism being seen, particularly in people who are self-absorbed, we're just talking about the Bible, or people who have a pathological mental illness like narcissistic personality disorder. Now, I do want to go into what the disorder is. Characterized by a lifelong pattern of exaggerated feelings of self-importance, an excessive need of admiration, a diminished ability or a willingness to empathize with others, feelings, and interpersonally exploitative behavior. That's a lot. You can go to Google and look into it yourself, or if you need a more plainer explanation, I'm sorry, the Son and God doing his work. But I felt the need to talk about this because I see a lot of conversations being discussed between Christians and the narcissist. And let's be clear, the narcissist can be male or female. It's a self-absorbed person who would like for the world to evolve around them. And they need to be admired and acknowledged 24/7, 365. A perfect and prime example of that is someone who's always, am I good enough for you? Did I do a good job? And I'm not saying casually. I'm saying this person, I'm talking about maybe every time they cook, they got to ask that. Maybe every time you guys have intercourse, they have to ask that. Like every single time. And these behaviors are not fruitful. And that's what I want you guys to understand and see. Like, not necessarily try to make this whole plan and deal about narcissists, but with every concept, ideal, even with modern terms that we have, there's concepts and ideas that are in the Bible that we already have as to do or not do, right? And 2 Timothy kind of makes that real plain for us. Any of these behaviors and traits are not holy, they're not godly, they are not biblical, they should not be in the act of you or in your speech or deeds or thoughts. And the Bible clearly say to avoid such people. Now, to what extent the avoidance means to you, I don't know. A lot of people have divorced men and women for being narcissists. I am not God, so I am not the judge of that. And God, obviously, that's a conversation between them and God. I would say, me personally, I do not feel led, or I don't feel like it is my right or duty to tell someone to divorce or not. I feel like that is not any human being's authority or ability. I feel like, as God being the creator of marriage, you should consult God for that decision. Me personally, a narcissistic partner could very well be your cross. A marriage that is burdensome could very well be your cross. Everybody has a cross to bear. And a lot of people want to manipulate and control what they can. But think about all those situations, circumstances where you cannot. A sick spouse, or a person that becomes really sick or ill. A mentally challenged spouse. Someone who, I don't know, loses their mind later on in a marriage, or someone who becomes disabled. Like, these things that people can't control, but yet they still have to do and deal with these situations. Like, when you think about the vows, to death do us part. So when we go into the terms of the biblical standpoint, we understand that there's a ground for divorce, committed adultery. But then there's the big picture where ideally, or even from the example of God, the only thing that should separate someone in a relationship is death. However, it's like, well, if they're going to cheat on you and act like they're not married, then you're free to leave, But I don't think that it's up to us to talk to people about whether they should leave or stay. That's just me. But anyway, I do want to continue this conversation. I do want to continue to talk about the narcissist behavior and what it is and what it means for Christian and believers. But again, I want to keep it biblical. Like, we have scriptures that help lead and guide us as to how to address certain issues in people. There's this movement of being a boss chick where you don't need a man, you don't need him, you don't want him, you're bad by yourself. And it's like, that's not biblical, that's not holy, that's not righteous, and it's not acceptable in the Lord's sight. We are made to be a helpmate. Now, the levels and dynamics of the helpmate is between you and your spouse, and vice versa, male to female. You know, like I said, guys know I'm particularly talking to women, but I personally, I'm gonna say this in this video, so nobody won't have to come back and ask me. I personally feel like there is nothing too hard for God, and if you do have a narcissistic partner, God can deliver them. He can take care of them. He can also take care of you in the process, because from what I'm reading and learning and understanding, we all have enabling traits and we all have gravitating traits, meaning that there could be something about me that attracts this type of person. Not to mean to do it on purpose, and it's not to say that you deserve bad behavior or how people treat you. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying, like a moocher. I was talking to my sister about this. A moocher. You're going to attract the moocher if you're saying to the person, all I want is you. So then the person has gray area to be like, well, if all you want is me, then that's all I need to work at, me. Getting me to you. And in a man and woman situation, more times than none, this attracts the bum. The person who doesn't want to work, who doesn't want to provide, who doesn't want to take care of anything, who doesn't want to strive for better, who doesn't want better, because their self has been mentioned to be enough. Like, well, just like I am here. And then 5-6 years later, when the woman matures, it's, he don't do nothing. He don't want to work. All you do is stay home and drink and party and da-da-da. It's like you literally gave the impression that all you want and need was him. So then that's all he provided for you. And he has no motivation and drive to do anything else. But it's a whole nother story. But anywho, I also want to leave on this note. Please, 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 if you are in a situation that is related to anything I have said, because I'm going to talk about this more, because I know this is going to be a really lengthy subject and matter, but please be wise and careful about what you say and do in the comment section. Like I said, I don't necessarily believe in telling someone to leave their marriage. I don't think anyone should comment that. I do believe in prayer and fasting. I do believe God can heal and mend marriages. I do believe that God is God of the impossible and he works miracles every day. And a narcissistic partner is nothing to him. He can handle that. He can deliver them. He can help. And usually in a situation where someone's labeled, there's always room and growth and development on both parties, the victim and the predator. You know what I'm saying? Like, God is working out through each and every person involved. So why not allow the expert to deal with the situation matter? And we do our part of prayer and fasting and reading God's word. So what I want you to do is, you can type in narcissist or narcissism in the Bible online, and whatever scriptures come up to that, I want you to pray over that. I want you to read that out loud to yourself. I want you to just make that your thing. Like, make it your thing, like at least once a day, to read one of those scriptures and to meditate on it. Because like I said, even though narcissism isn't in the Bible, we have an idea of how to carry ourselves and what's expected from the people around us. And we pray through that thing and we give it to God and ask God to help us. That's my 2 cents right now. So I'm gonna come back and get more involved in this. So just be patient with me. Obviously, I know these subject matters are gonna be long and lengthy. I probably will have to go live a couple times, but I feel comfortable being in this subject and talking about these things. So love you guys. God bless. Take care. Bye.